So when I was by myself, I would pull it at a compound, and when it gets back here, it releases. The farther back you pull it, the more power it releases. So if you're shooting a 70 or 80-pound bow, when you get that boy all the way back, you're almost shaking. And if you can pull a 100-pound bow, that means 100 pounds of pressure. If you can pull it, you can't hardly aim it because but a compound bow, you get twice that much because it's got them little wheels. And when you pull it, it gets past, it gets easier. Pretty soon, you're almost resting and aim it. He was watching all that. We walked out on the yard one day, and I stepped in a hole, and I fell over. Of course, I popped right back up. So he's adding all of this up. He says, this nigga's getting old. He's losing balance. When you get older, your balance. Older people break hips. He's thinking that type of old. I'm out on the yard, and I'm walking on the grass, and I stepped in a light hole, and boop. Now, when you're young, you can trip over and catch yourself, stumble down a thing. But when you get older, all I did was, okay, I'm going down. So I hit the ground and rolled right back up. I popped right back up. That was quite a while ago. But he's adding all this up. He's adding all this up, and he's thinking, finally, when he did what he did, he was thinking, this nigga is so old. By that time, I'm 70-something. This nigga is so old that, him and the 300-pound lady, we take this nigga out, we'll whoop him to death. Well, actually, they did. But the only thing is, as you said, you didn't pass out at all. You used the word lost consciousness. I said, no, I never lost no consciousness. So, but I knew what to do. I can grab him. I can't grab her, but I can grab him, and I pull him to me. Pretty soon, when I'm getting ready to get on top of him, it's just that my head makes a perfect target for her. And she's whack, whack, whack. But I didn't go out. I didn't go down. Anybody else would say, this nigga here is hard as nails. This nigga here is tough. That's what anybody else would say. If somewhere they got that I know they got it on video somewhere. If you ever find it and you see the kind of wax that they was laying out on me, right smack dab on my head, and I never even blinked. I never blinked. And I don't know if you saw when it was all over, I told my sons, okay, take me home. I'm getting in, and they saying, Dad, you got to go to the hospital. And I can't see myself. I'm not looking at myself, and I can't see my head. I wasn't hurting or nothing. I'm going on and get some sleep. Dad, you got to go. And they looking at me like, because they looking at me like I look on the picture. You know what I mean? And that's not the way I'm feeling. It ain't like I just got beat up and brutalized, really brutalized. You could see on the picture, that was brutal. That was brutal, and it was for a Negro to do that to somebody that's pulled him out of the gutter. I'm not bragging. And pulled him up and handled him like that. Well, that's what they do. That ain't no big deal. I don't feel like I did anything wrong, or I don't feel like I was abused. I said, that's great, because now it's all there on camera. The guy that called the other day, today, he just said it was 2 hours, maybe an hour ago, hour and a half. That lady that comes on the thing, I said, that lady come on just where you could see her. That lady ain't getting that. I said, the more she come on, the better it is for us. I said, because they're going to have to answer all of those questions, And everybody know what's going on. It don't matter whether that's why it takes, that I said that when a person graduates from high school, they should have to stand on the stage in front of the whole auditorium and just have everybody laugh at them and point at them for an hour to find out that there ain't nothing to it. And they should get a trip around the world, so they can see what the world looks like, get a feel for its size and, its peoples. So anyway, whatever the people think, they would think that that stuff that happened would have a certain effect on somebody. If I go to jail all the time, that's wonderful because I have the deed and I have all those arrest records, going to jail. And the police put me in. We have one picture, even Mukhtar is on the picture. You could tell it's him, right? Okay. Everything. What else? I didn't think we would get that good of a introduction, And it's illegal what they done. You know that everything they have done to take somebody off of an account and put somebody else on it is totally illegal. It's ridiculous. That's what they did with me. Okay. When I get ready to sue them, I'll sue them. If they said you let too much time go by on certain times, that don't work. They've sold property. Mukhtar is signed that I have the deed where he sold the big piece of property that I was remodeling for all of those years. He sold it. He sold it. He ain't got the money because if he got the money, he would have been long gone. If it was anything like he would be gone, he wouldn't. The white folks ain't let him keep that money. Right? He's on a regular salary, a poor man's police salary. That's all. Anyway. So as I was telling the brother, I said, no, man, well, she talks this way. I said, that's okay. Those are friends of mine. They're helping me. They work for me. They work for you? She sounds real mean. I said, that lady is our best friend. That lady is our best friend. The stuff she said, when we run this, can you imagine we're in the question, okay, the jury's listening and I'm questioning. I said, did you say that my father sold me into slavery? I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, this sounds like what you said. Is that you saying that? She said that, right? Can you imagine all the dumb stuff they've done? It's wonderful. It's ridiculous. It's wonderful, right? I mean, I laid the trap, but I didn't know it was going to be that extensive. That's why I kept on doing it. I said, I can't believe it. Look how this is going. So I just, man, I was ready to wrap this up years ago. I said, man, look at this here. And it kept on and kept on. And then when we get here, they would call. And I said, man, this is never ending. This is a gift that never, what they say, never stops giving. Yeah, keeps on giving. I said, that's them. Okay. This is counteroffensive time of our era. And I have artificial intelligence era here because that has to do with acceleration of time. It's not only the war in Ukraine, this, that, and other, but although those 5 stages was only 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 11 years ago, since then and now, there's a big jump in the evolution of the time sequences. It's like now, that's almost like the old days because you could plan it, map it out, and then you could watch it develop it. But now, with this artificial intelligence mentality and what's going on in the media, you can see things are hitting fast, bam, bam, bam. And you can see the decline of America is visible. It's not like you talk about it, but the decline of America, the idiots right now, I think the conference was just over that they had for the Latin American conference. It's ridiculous. Even the white folks is talking about it and how it don't make. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I heard on the radio today, early this morning, or it was late last night, one guy was talking about they invaded Iraq and they didn't get sanctioned. They raided this, they ran it all down. Did you hear that? I said, well, come on over with us. It just laid it out. And then I tell you what it was. You know the European conference thing that they have? This was one of the ones that they don't let speak very much. This is one of the conferencees for the European thing that they got for NATO and all of that. They got a whole nother crew that they never mention. The Europeans, I believe these bootlicking Europeans is outnumbered by the others. Because it sounded like he had a team with him. So you sanction Iran, you sanction this, you sanction that. What about you? They done invaded Iraq twice. They done did this, that, and another. The wars in Yemen, and they support that. And and they say that the Zionists are attacking the Palestinians every day, all day, any day. That's what they said this morning. I heard it this morning or last night. So the acceleration of decline is not it's not as far off as it was. So we have to tighten up and be ready for this. Well, we are ready for this transition. But now, boss man, he has to be fed with a long-handled spoon. When we used to go to the hole all the time, they put you in there. Then they got the strip cells. The strip cells is dark, and they got a hole in the floor, not a toilet. And they got double, they got a regular cell, and then they got another door. You got to open up that first door, and then they'd have 2 or 3 of those rooms in each cell block of the hole. Like if it was 20 cells going down, 25 or less. The last 3, they call them strip cells. You would be in there naked, and you would be so. I would wind up in there from time to time. And I had another friend. We started together in the Youth Authority. We started together at Frico Ranch School for Boys. And I was a partial mess up. This guy was pure. And by then now we grown. And he ain't crazy, but he resents authority, and he don't. And the white man, when they would feed him, that's why they would feed me normally. They would come up to the cell and give me my food, and he would be there and he would slip it through the thing, and there he'd be. But Herman Brown, the police would wear a raincoat and a rain hat, and they would have a long pole with a ping pong paddle on the end of it, and they would put his food on that, and they would hold it around him because he would throw urine or feces, things like